Right now, there is a very real possibility that the midterms could slip into chaos, and that is unsurprisingly because of far-right Trump loyalists. A new Reuters investigation found a wave of pro-Trump activists are working to replace local government leaders with election deniers. The outlet identified 44 counties in 15 different states where local officials have faced efforts to change voting rules since the 2020 election, and all signs point to Nevada being ground zero for this crisis. Let's look in at it for a moment. 10 of Nevada's 17 counties have seen their top election officials resign, retire, or decline to seek re-election since 2020. 4 of those officials said that the harassment or continued efforts to challenge the 2020 results were among their reasons for leaving. And as the Washington Post's Dana Milbank warns, the worst case scenario for Nevada is that conspiracy-minded county commissioners might refuse to certify the results, which raises the likelihood that the state legislator could step in and throw out the results in any contested state election, from assembly all the way up to governor, and install the candidate of their choice, something that actually is allowed under Nevada law. Joining me now is Cisco Aguilar. He is the Democratic nominee for one of the most important positions in that state, Secretary of State for Nevada. Sir, thank you so much for making time for us this evening. Let me just start out by your concern. How concerned are you about what is going on in your state right now? How concerned should the rest of the country be?
Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here to explain the situation. We are definitely concerned here in Nevada, but we are prepared. We're working hard to ensure that every vote in Nevada is counted. We are going to be there to be prepared. We have legal protection ready to go. The Democratic Party is working hard to ensure that all Nevadans' votes are counting in this election cycle.
Your opponent, Jim Marchin, appeared at a Trump rally 2 weeks ago. I want to play for you and our viewers some of what he said. Watch this.
You're going to elect me as your Secretary of State because I oversee the election system. We're going to make sure that you have a fair and transparent election system, because if we do, we are a red state, I guarantee you.
I want to give you a chance to respond to that. What do you make of what he said and what he continued to say as well about, and some interpreted it as him saying if he is elected, he would make sure that in 2024, Donald Trump will be president. Some people interpreted that as rigging the election for him.
You know, it's unfortunate because he hasn't appeared before Nevada voters to explain his positions or why he's running for Secretary of State. All of a sudden, he appears on a national stage to say that he's determined the election for Nevada without knowing the will of Nevada voters. That's unfortunate. We've looked for him all over the state to confront him on those issues or to have a discussion of why he believes what he believes, but he's refused to appear, and he's refused to explain to Nevadans why he has that belief. It's unfortunate. It's unacceptable. Look, he's not a serious candidate for Secretary of State, but the threat he represents is extremely serious, and we are here to combat that and explain away why he's telling lies to Nevadans consistently.
Yeah, and you have, Trump allies have targeted the ballot drop boxes and mail-in voting. Jim Marchin, your opponent, has called for running elections by paper ballots and hand counting, which I guess, is like going back to, the 1800s. What is your reaction to these proposals that they're doing?
Again, he's trying to change the rules on the election cycle because he knows that if he doesn't change the rules, he and his friends cannot win elections like this. Extremists are not welcomed in Nevada. Nevada want people who are pragmatic, who are going to be honest and tell them the truth and be transparent about their actions and decisions when it comes to election cycle. Nevada's worked really hard to increase access. We have same-day voter registration. We have early voting, which started today. We're pretty excited about it. We also have mail ballots, which are making elections extremely accessible throughout the state. Nevada has a very urban core, but we have a very strong rural community. We also have a very strong Native community. In the last election cycle, Native communities have increased their engagement in voting by 25%. That's pretty incredible. We need to continue to fight for more access, and we need to continue to make sure that all Nevadans have the opportunity to express their opinion. Look, this is no longer about Democratic or Republican priorities. What this is about is protecting the rights of Nevadans across the state, whether you're Republican or Democrat. We need to ensure that we're listening to our citizens and doing what's in the best interest. Unfortunately, Jim Marchant continues to lie to all Nevadans about the vision and the future of this state, and that's unacceptable.
Let me ask you about voter intimidation, if I can. There are local reports in Arizona that say on Friday night police were called to investigate armed and masked individuals near a ballot drop box. And it's just, one of the latest alleged voter intimidation examples in that state. Arizona's Secretary of State Katie Hobbs has already referred the matter to the Department of Justice. What do you make of that? And have you seen any similar allegations in your state? Are you concerned about voter intimidation in your state?
I am absolutely concerned. And that's why if I'm elected Secretary of State, the first bill we would introduce into the upcoming legislature is to make it a felony to harass or intimidate election workers and volunteers. They are humans. They are neighbors. They're our relatives. They're doing the job we need them to do to protect our democracy and make sure that the system is fair and transparent for all Nevadans. It's unacceptable that people would have to go to work in fear. It's not a great state to know that when you're working in fear, you're not going to get the results that we need to have, especially when you're trying to protect our democracy and make sure that all elections are secure, but also to making sure that everybody's vote counts and everybody votes counts equally.
All right, Cisco Aguilar, sir, thank you so much for joining us. Greatly appreciate your insights this evening.
Thank you for having me. Glad to be here.